think I'm back. It's okay. There we go. There we go.
Hi.
Oh, there you
There
are.
we go. Hi.
Yeah, my internet decided to flicker for a brief moment, so I was on pins and needles.
Ooh.
Yeah, you were roboting a little bit right before, so.
Yeah, all we discussed was the captain asked us to move to this zone and for comms to hail them.
Let me check something.
Okay.
Sure. I'm still here.
Yes, we can still hear you.
No, I don't know if the stream died.
Oh, that. Oh, sorry.
No.
Oh, I should be supporting the Twitch stream. Forgot to bring that up tonight.
Oh, everything says I'm.
Intended for certain audiences. I don't know if I'm old enough for this stream.
Well, it's because some people curse during the stream.
I try not to. It just comes out sometimes.
Yeah, that's why the marker's there. Oh, my phone's being a butt. My computer's connected, but everything else is fighting me. Right. I don't want to be doing that forever, so. Check. Just need to verify that everything's fine. OBS says I'm fine. But let's make sure. I'm fine. Yep. I'm good. Good. All right, so. Sorry about that, folks. That was a weird... I'm not even sure how that looked on the other side. But hey, we're still here. I think. Triple checking. No, I just restarted as of 2 minutes ago. Well, this can be a double stream. This is part 2, everybody. Hi. Slight glitch, so the last video will just suddenly stop for no reason, and then they'll start here. That's just a technical error on my end. But we're fine. We're back. So last act I heard, I believe the audience heard, was you had moved here. I had revealed what that was, and I was asking for a role for calling down engineering, which I believe that control engineering check was.
Yep.
Yes.
And I believe I called it 2, so that's a hit. So you are.
You did call it 2.
Yep. So you will have that. You would have created a new trait of repair team sent down, and then sensor glitch is taken care of. So that trait just doesn't exist anymore.
And then, yes, while you were out, the captain asked us to move to this zone and for comms to hail that ship.
Okay, so you move here.
And
oh, go ahead.
And Doctor, what kind of dangers are we facing if we move as close to the sun as that vessel?
Dr. Tweer will consider what's the what is like the radiation risk? What's the
that would be reason medicine, difficulty of 2. Difficulty 1 because you're at your multi-role console. Assisted by a ship's computer's medicine.
Cool. I'll just roll it. I'll just roll it regularly.
Oh yeah, don't count the ship for this one.
Oh, I hit it.
You are aware of rad risk 2. Basically, there's a severity 2 radiation risk if you're in any of those 4 zones, because you are without appropriate shielding. If you spend a scene, if you end a scene with shields down, everyone in there basically takes a severity 2 attack.
Okay.
Which,
And,
if your ship's resistance, maybe I will tell you your ship's resistance is enough to soak that. So you'd need to be a ship that has resistance 2 or lower. Lower than 2, or the radiation would have to pulse a lot more. So your normal hull will save you from the solar radiation. Unless you leave the ship, like if you get in an EVA suit, then you're at risk because the EVA suit will provide some resistance, but not enough to ignore Rad 2. I don't think anyway. I think it's protection 1, so I don't think it's enough.
and how big is this? How big is this ship?
That has not been verified. It is a
Oh, it
vessel.
has not been verified. Okie dokie. Um, well, ship's shields and hull should be able to withstand the radiation, meaning there should be no risk to risk to us if we go closer. However, if we have to transport people over, I don't know how long that will last. Additionally, we don't know if I do not know whether or not our ship's tractor beams will be able to handle a vessel like that.
Fair enough. You might want to have your teams prep radiation prophylactics.
Understood. And he will press a couple of buttons on his console.
Boop boop.
Control medicine difficulty 2 as you prepare to difficulty 1 because you are preparing the crew for radiation exposure.
Cool. Renowned physician trait.
Yeah, radiation's kind of an easy thing for you to do.
Chemistry focus.
Yeah, because you have to know how to apply the drug to various people.
And it's what medicine?
Control medicine. You're giving detailed instructions to people.
Okay, cool. Not as good, but still pretty good.
I generate momentum.
Sweet.
Boop.
Tom's, any answer to our hail?
No answer to hail, sir.
Mr. Suzuki, what's our sensor status?
I assume the repair team has fixed the thing by now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. He kind of shoos the 2 repair team guys away from his console and says, "Scanning the vessel now, sir."
Just what I was about to ask.
Reason, hey, Aratana marks down initiative. Check mark. Reason, science. Assisted by sensor science. Difficulty of 3.
If I'm scanning this vessel to gain general information about it, can I argue starship recognition?
You 100% could.
Awesome.
Arguably,
In
you
combat-
could use con instead if that's better. Arguably.
It is 1 better. And sure, I'll spend a momentum.
Uh-oh.
I
Yeah.
don't think the ship can assist, can it?
We can't. No,
Nope.
you need at least 1 hit. You need to succeed, sorry. You need at least 1 hit to assist. Yeah, blah.
Then Suzuki is just going to say, "I'm sorry, sir, the sensor radiation, the radiation emitted from the sun is too much. I can't make heads or tails of these sensor numbers we're getting. You might need someone else to take a look at this."
Revere gets up and crosses over to the science station. Let me see what I can do here.
Captain, tactical, new contacts. Has 2 alien vessels.
Stop where I am.
Suzuki wipes sweat off his brow because he feels like he's failing.
It's not like the Commodore and the former ship's boat officer was.
Yeah, the proctors were standing right behind him.
Yeah. Actually, you see Artana kind of, after hearing the alarm, kind of walks over to where security is to kind of look at what they're seeing. And yeah, there's 2 new contacts on the nav sensor. There's 2 new starships that just warped in.
What ships are these, Con?
Are you asking Oa? He'll do his
Yeah.
best. Insight,
Yeah.
con?
Yeah, it could be reason or insight con. Difficulty of 2, assisted by sensors con.
Okay. Well, he doesn't have starship recognition, but he does have submersibles. So if he gets stuck on a submarine, he's our guy.
Oh, and you
Um,
can which one's your primary target? Which one are you identifying first, or trying to identify first?
And the other one I assume will be momentum spend.
Correct.
Yeah, let's go for this one first.
Okay.
Just randomly. I think it's slightly closer. Yeah, Oa. Can Oa be assisted by Suzuki?
You could, yeah.
All right. Insight, con. Okay. Okay, this might actually help. Take a threat.
Certainly.
You said 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me look at directives to see if I can pull anything. No, the other. Come on. Um, difficulty or objective 3: encounter unknown vessels exhibiting subspace phase interference. I
At least the first half of it.
yeah, encounter these unknown vessels.
Yeah.
I need to know what they are to encounter them.
Yep.
All right, then I'll re-roll the two flats.
As Commodore Solar starts hovering over Suzuki and Oa.
Yeah, they sort of talk amongst themselves for a minute, and then Oa says, "Oh, I think I know who they are."
I believe you generated one there at the end of that.
Yep. And I'm going to spend that to identify the other one.
Okay. Whoops. Can I just get rid of you? You, shoo. All right, so you spend that one. You have identified 2 unknown contacts. These are not standard. These are not. These are new contacts, I should say. However, you can tell basic things about scale and likely and what their basic capabilities are. Let me get that in front of me here.
Okay.
I'm not as used to navigating this book as a GM. I'm used to looking around in the player part of it. Okay. They both appear to be scale 3. This one is marked to be a battle cruiser of some kind. This one it seems to be some sort of medical vessel or hospital ship, because you can see large chunks of it seem to be dedicated to beds and storage and stuff like that. So that indicates that it's more for people carrying and medical assistance. They seem to share the same cultural group, but they are 2 different polities. Or at least 2 different ship designers. There's different design philosophies, basically. Like Klingons build D7s, Romans build D7s, but they build them differently to give you that feeling. And they seem to use polarized shielding, polarized hull shielding. And weaponry wise, they use something that is not phasers, but they haven't powered them up yet, so it's hard to tell. They do seem to have torpedo
Okay.
tubes. What kind of torpedoes you don't know because they haven't
Yeah,
loaded
then
them.
Oa is going to say, Oa is going to say, it looks like we have one battle cruiser and one medical frigate, sir. I do not believe they come from the same organization, though their marketing seem differently. And whoever they are, they seem to be more primitive than us. They're still on polarized hull shields, and I can detect no sign of phaser banks.
Thank you, Mr. Oa. Comms, hail those vessels. Open hailing
Sir,
frequencies.
sir, yes, sir.
This is Lieutenant Commander Revere of the United Federation of Planets Starship Frolic to unknown vessels. We are currently engaged in a search and rescue operation.
You get a response from the battlecruiser. Communications reports that the ship identifies itself as the starship Iron Scale. They seem to be claiming salvage rights over the ship near the star. They're asking us to vacate. Sorry, demanding us to vacate.
We're in Federation space, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
This is USS Frolic to Starship Iron Scale. Negative. We are in Federation space. This is our territory. However, if you wish to assist in our search and rescue efforts, we welcome any assistance. And I signal for the communications to be cut and then say to the comms officer, anything from the other vessel?
Let me look, sir.
Nothing at present.
All right.
This ship has powered up its polarized hull and has powered up its weaponry systems and loaded its torpedo tubes.
I'll report that.
Frolic to Starship Iron Scale. We see you powering up your defenses and offensive weaponry. We are on a peaceful mission, but we will defend ourselves. Please stand down.
All right, you're in a social conflict with the enemy captain. You want him to do a thing. He doesn't want to do the thing. He is not yielding automatically, so it becomes a opposed task of presence command or presence security.
You'll definitely be doing command.
There you are. I'm the defender, so I have to act first. I want to spend a full minute.
Your kung fu is impressive. Your kung fu is very impressive.
That is God, that is something that my
1,
dad
2,
and
3,
I say to each other all the time.
This reference is before my time.
You can watch old movies. We
In
let
badly
you.
dubbed. Yeah. Yeah. As many movies as you've watched, you've never watched an old, cheesy kung fu flick where it goes, your kung fu is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yes, I probably have. I assume this was a reference to a specific thing, not just like the general concept of a kung fu film.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
For my dad and I, it will always be your brand of kung fu is very strong. Is what we say to each other all the time.
Okay.
All right,
So
let's
that
see if I
that one
can
in particular tickles me.
de-escalate this conflict with this guy anyway. Where is... Can I use V4 here? Yeah, okay, I'm going to call back to Legacy of Blood, where I won an argument with an ancient Vulcan priestess.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd say so.
and on use, which was value number 4, which is I can fix anything. And spend that, and then I'll give you... No, we have no momentum. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the to buy up to 4 dice.
Okay.
I do not have a focus. I think the only traits that might work are either... The only one that might work is Haitian, because, well, I'm wearing a helmet, which probably... That stupid helmet probably negates any fierce look I might give.
Well, remember, in the sim, it isn't real.
Oh, okay. So yeah, the only thing I might have
There
going
is no
for me
helmet.
is Cation, and I'll like sort of, when I'm talking about how we will defend ourselves, I'll make sure my incisors, top and bottom, are visible, if that will fire.
They're not on screen, so no.
Okay, fair enough.
They don't know
So
your
here we
Cation.
Fair enough.
You're just a voice in space.
No, that's fair. It's the only thing I figured might hit, but there's 6.
6, so you beat me by 2, so you generate 2. In the midst of that, somewhere a scene change did happen, but you didn't have momentum at the time, so just so you know.
Okay.
All right. So your command is 4. You can. They are going to spend 2, 3, 4 threat to withstand your demands and take. You can spend 2 momentum, repeatable, to inflict additional pressure.
Okie dokie. We have 2 momentum. And this was presence, so okay, I don't have anything to swing at this. Yeah, I'll spend those 2 to add another, to increase the impact by 1.
Okay, I will spend a threat to account for that. They resist your demand. But there is an obvious pause. Like, they're all power. They unload their torpedo tubes. But the weapons are still on. Their main weapon systems are online, and their polarized shields are still. The polarized hull is still active. They will. They begin trying to intimidate you and tell you that they're how powerful they are, how many people they've fought and destroyed, and you're just one ship all by yourself. Stuff along that line. Never straight out saying they're going to attack you, but just reminding you of the tactical situation and how experienced they are. How much it's going to help them is unknown, but we'll find out because you're the defender.
No, fair enough. Let me finish making this log really quickly.
You do learn from this that they identify themselves as the Krill. No, never. Not their polity. Like, I am a Krill of many fights and many wars. I have bested many prey and
Okay,
predator
kind of like
alike.
Klingon junk.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Stuff along that line.
Right. Okay. Let's see. If I give you a bunch of threat, you're just going to spend it right back, but you have enough threat to buy a full mint again. So I don't like this at all. So yeah, take 6 for a full mint.
All right.
Oh,
2 hits, you say? I'll just buy a couple dice. I should be able to nail this. Oh, now with that roll, I'm not. I tie, thankfully. So I still nail you. But I was just trying to intimidate you, which I succeeded. So I'm going to add to the scene guide. What do you guys call it again? Krill. Perilous Krill, I should say. You have this feeling that these guys are very serious and they may be willing to risk war with the Federation. They may be pirates. They're very unpredictable, so it's hard to have a grasp on them. But you believe what he's telling you, or at least what the Sim's telling you. That this guy may start fighting you, which means that in this social encounter, he now has a bonus hit. He has a trait in his favor. But he didn't inflict any stress on you. He just intimidated you to create a trait.
okay.
You can try to create some sort of trait back through intimidation, negotiation, deception, or you can try to convince him again with that, knowing that he has a bonus hit on his side.
Oh. So, but it's still it's still an attacker defender kind of situation, right?
Yeah, he's the defender this time, so it depends on what you want to do. That'll change how much I want to spend on. If you're just creating a trait, I might not be as worried. If it's the straight up persuasion roll, I might want to resist that because you may notice I didn't give him a name yet.
Right.
So maybe he's not all that major. He's just notable.
Right. See, my thing is I don't have anything to spend but stuff that gives you more juice.
Well, I'm defender either way in this case. So it depends on what you're doing. If you're trying to create a trait or you're trying to attack me directly, socially.
Okay. Tell you what. Yeah, I'm going to create a
Actually, I'm
trait.
I'll tap the brake
Go
on that
ahead.
for a second. Out of all fairness, the doctor would have had a free turn in that social conflict. As would the one of the Commodore's assistants, because they only have one turn, so they would have been.
I have a thought based on what I looked into earlier. I determined that our ship could withstand that solar radiation pretty well. What about their ship?
You you're trying to figure out if that's true?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll call that insight medicine. Sorry, you got a ship recognition call on them. Reason medicine. Difficulty of 2.
It's all the same. Diff 2. Okay.
Sorry, diff 1. You're at your multiple station.
Yerp. It generated momentum.
Yep.
Yay.
Yeah. You realize that they probably have enough resistance. Just by ship hull to withstand it. With polarized hull, they're probably okay. Polarized hull actually won't help them much. It's just their resistance on the ship. But if they're working on polarized hulls, if they're at that tech level, then it's reasonable to presume that they don't have transporter technology. And it is very likely that. Also, actually, a better way to put it. Sorry, because you did medicine. Better way to say it is the krill. As far as you're aware, you look through the medical database and you're able to find out that the krill aboard that ship do have thick armored hides that make them more resistant to radiation. But you are able to determine that may lead to them not trusting they may trust their natural armor over the ship. So the ship probably doesn't have as much resistance as its size would suggest. But that thing's I said it's like a scale 3. So it's probably actually resistance 2 instead of resistance 3. It's probably thinner hulled than you would think, which is enough to withstand the sun, assuming it doesn't flare up or you don't artificially flare it up. So you've created the trait thin hulled. Thin hulled krill. Because medically there's no reason for them to have thick hulls because they naturally have their own hull, essentially.
Sir, I've been looking over the medical data of the krill, and if I may make a couple of deductive leaps, they are a race that has rather thick skin, highly resistant to radiation. And if that's the case, it may stand to reason that for a ship of their size, they may have thinner hulls.
Well, let's hope we don't have reason to test that.
Right.
In the meantime, good.
It also means that their ability to withstand the radiation of the sun is definitely within tolerances. However, they are playing a dangerous game. If the sun decides to flare up, it may no longer be adequate.
I'll extend the turn out to any of the supports because I only have one turn on my side
Fair enough.
for the social roll.
Okay, could Suzuki scan the sun to see if he can predict, and if off the back of what the doctor suggested, to see if he can predict if a solar flare might occur in the near future?
Reason science, difficulty 2, assisted by ship sensor science.
Where is it?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's wrong.
Yeah.
It would actually be. No, you're creating a trait. It's 2. I'm right. I'm still right. Yep, never mind.
I'm not gonna have a focus. Take that momentum. Oh, thank God.
Sensor side for the ship.
Gotcha. Science. Oh,
Threat or comp.
silly ship. Take the threat.
Boop, boop.
All right, well, actually, that shouldn't be my call. That should be
That's
Solaris's
true.
call.
That's true.
Yeah, take the threat. I don't think he's so incompetent as to get routine complications here, so just take the threat.
Yeah, so you created a trait, predictable flares. So what that means is that if they're in any of those zones and you have 2 momentum, you can time it such that the flare happens to them. So basically, instead of severity 2, it becomes severity 4. It basically just doubles because it does flare up. That does put at risk anything that's in these 4 zones, I'll note. I'll even spend... I won't spend a threat for that. That's just normal. That just makes sense. So anything in these 4 zones is exposed to severity 4 attacks. This one's constantly being bapped with 2 every so often, but shuttles can handle 2 generally, just with hulls alone. That's how you survive in space. But yeah, you can flare it out to 4 with 2 momentum because you know when it's going to happen and you can call it out. And unless they learn it, they can't really call out when it happens because they don't know when it's going to happen, but you do. Goes to revere properly as your sensor operator is able to verify the flare cycle of the star, of the main star.
Well, is there another star right? There's another sun in the system. Is it right here?
Yeah.
There's a companion
Oh,
star.
it's way over there. Okay.
Yeah. No
I'm
planets.
Sorry, I zoned out a little bit.
Yeah.
I zoned out a little bit. When did you say the next flare would be?
With 2 momentum, you'll know when it happens. So you can cause. Okay. You basically can cause it narratively to happen, but Suzuki knows when it'll happen. So no time soon, but you know when it'll happen, so you can call stuff out.
Good work. Now, get me what you can on the vessel in distress. And then to the Krill, I'll say, we are going to continue with our mission. You can I ask that you either assist us or stay out of our way. Do not force me to engage you. And then I'm going to try and make this actually an engineering role. I want to kind of do something that will indicate the power of the ship, just literally, allow some emissions out that shows that, we're, that shows exactly that we're a more advanced, more powerful system, and then raise shields.
So yeah, purposely flaring out your full
Basically,
energy signature.
Yeah, I'm trying to create a counter trait to the trait they created last time.
Oh, okay. So that would be it's opposed. I still get 1 free hit, but I have to defend. I have to call out the defense first. You're trying to create a trait. I don't want you to have the advantage, so I will spend a little bit. I'm not going to spend a ton. If you canceled out, it's not the end of my day. But I'd rather you didn't do that. Now, if I roll like that, that is 1 hit with a complication. Yeah, I'll call what the complication is if you succeed. Yeah, well, whether you succeed or fail, I'll call out what it is. But I have 1 hit.
Okay.
Sorry, 2 hits technically because of my existing intimidation.
And can I make that like a presence engineering roll?
You could, yep.
Okay, excellent. Because I'm much better at engineering. Well, not much better, but I have more things I can throw at it with engineering. For instance, bold engineering. I'll give you a 1 threat for that.
Okay.
And take a look at my focuses, see if I have anything there that will work with this instead of me just reading out several.
No, I haven't looked. Where are you? Medical science, engineering. Oh, sailing. No.
See, if me and O get together on a water planet with his,
hell yeah,
the submarines and sailing, hell yeah, that's the adventure.
Yep.
EPS works because you're
Okay.
trying to manifest how much power you can generate. You're flaring your energy signature on purpose, which normally is not a good idea. Right. That's a come hit me light or I'm over here light. But it's like no. I want you to know that's what I can do. I'm acting as if. Right. But you're putting your shields up. What's yellow alert?
Oop. Right. I'm actually going to call for a blue alert.
Oh, blue alert.
Because while I'm putting the shields up as part of the engineering intimidation, it's also because I'm probably going to move closer to the sun.
Yep.
And I know our hull will help, but the shields will keep us even safer.
Yeah,
So
you're noting a nav hazard, which is reasonable. Yep. Gets the same result visually because it's a shield going up.
Yep. So that's 3 for me,
that's
actually.
not good.
Let's see if I can fish, get some momentum. Yes, so 4 for me.
Boop, boop. For momentum generated. I
think it's just 3 because you got 1 hit, right?
Yes, that's correct. Complication wise, I'm gonna increase the potency of your intimidation. They actually. I'll note it because I could summon them back, I guess. So this might matter. Advanced shield systems. Watch out. 2. And yeah, they are not going to continue this social engagement. They're going to warp away.
Okay. Will the is it another action to do a ship-wide announcement?
You've fallen out of social conflict. The other target's gone away.
Okay.
New scene,
Okay.
by the way.
Okay. This is Lieutenant Commander Revere. We are under blue alert. We will be moving close to the system's main star. Shields are up, and our hull should protect us from any radiation, but be prepared. Revere out. Now, what can you tell me about that? What can you tell me about that ship incident? Sorry, Mr. Suzuki.
Can I attempt it again because I failed, or I thought circumstances need to change, or someone else would have to do that role because I failed at it?
You can try again.
Think
You
so,
can always generate more threat. You can always make the
All right.
situation worse.
Also, new scene. So
Also, new scene.
Oh, okay. Then Suzuki is going to say, "Okay, you've got this. You've got this, Kenji," and he's gonna get to work.
So, what are you scanning again? I'm sorry.
The ship to learn its status, life signs, all those sorts of things.
Ship status or life science? Those are different questions. One's science, one's medical.
Okay, then I'll do the science task. The doctor can do medical.
So you're looking
and,
at...
and in fact, he's even going to say, "Doctor, you might want to scan for life signs when I'm done."
So we have 2 roles here.
Agreed.
Reason Science difficulty 3 and Reason Medicine difficulty 3, assisted by sensors plus the relevant department.
I might want to do mine first because I do good stuff with momentum.
Go ahead.
Renowned physician trait.
Yeah.
Cool. That brings it down to diff 2.
Diff 1 because you're at a multi-role console.
Oh yeah, that's right. Cool. That generates 2 momentum.
sweet.
So you spent 1 and then gained 2. So.
Yep.
Sensor Science. Sorry, Sensors Medicine.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Ship may complicate if I'm lucky. Oh, hey, generate extra moment.
But your luck is out.
Haha.
Medically, there seems to be significant... There are 56 souls aboard. And I have the casualty listing. Find it, that'd be awesome.
Said 56.
It should be in the roll 20. I rolled it.
Ah, yes.
So happens I mix my player notes with my regular notes. sorry, there are 56 life signs. 27 are dead. And the rest seem to have a variety of injuries, minor and major.
It's 56 life signs. How many dead?
27 dead.
We are picking up 56 life signs. Unfortunately, 27 of them appear to have already expired.
Understood. Prepare medical teams for triage and emergency treatment.
What's wrong? Page.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Suzuki, what can you tell me about the condition of their vessel?
I'm still scanning, sir. All right, reason science. We have 4 momentum. I'm gonna spend 3 of that.
Hold.
And oh, sorry.
I spent a significant amount of threat. The scene immediately
Okay.
ends as a reversal occurs.
Ah,
All the consoles, you have blue alert lights kind of along the upper walls, indicating your general alert status. There's like, and for the commander, there's like a light there that flashes, so you know that the rest of the ship is at a certain alert status. And if anyone comes on the ship, the first thing they see is the blinking lights at the front of the room. So you see the blinking blue lights, and then you see flashing red lights at all consoles. Eritana taps the Commodore. Something's wrong. That's not part of the drill.
Slores turns to him and says, "What do you mean?"
Those are actual sensor lights. We're actually detecting something.
Okay. At that point, Dolores is going to nod her head and she's going to walk over to sensors and take over from Mr. Suzuki. Sensors is this one, I think.
Yep. Yeah, you hear some murmuring behind you. You and because you're in the command chair, you can hear it, Revere. That what the airtime just said, and you just notice the 2 proctors just immediately just put away their pads and sit down at consoles.
all right. I'm going to get up and go. Are we canceling the simulation, Commodore? Proctor?
Uncertain at this time.
Consider the simulation pause for now, Commander. We have to verify something.
Understood.
Puts in his earpiece, adjusts things.
Yeah, and Slores will attempt to scan what has just happened.
Reason sensors, God's almighty. Reason science, difficulty of, it would be 1, but the training system's still in effect, so it goes up to 2. Assisted by computer science.
Okay, focus in diagnostics?
Yeah.
I can try to discern what went wrong? Awesome. All right, so we're ignoring that last roll, so take 1 momentum.
Certainly.
Here we go.
So you generate 1 plus the ship. Computer science.
Or is it sensor science?
Computers, because they're checking what's wrong with the sensor, what the sensors are alerted, why the computer's flashing lights at you.
Fair.
Eh.
Ship doesn't have great computers.
Complication or threat?
Sure, I'll take the complication.
Yeah, there's something for this. 1 moment. The GM's gonna pick on you. Brain. I just hit the end button. So I went to the bottom of the document, which is not helpful. Unless you guys wanted to know what the back of the book looked like. Oh wait, you already know that. So
I've never read that far. What is it like?
Duh. And you do have something that reduces this, so you detect that the when you're in a sim mode, everything, all your controls are basically completely hardwired differently, so you don't accidentally do stuff to real ships out in space. You're essentially doing stuff in Starfleet's parking lot, essentially, so they don't want you accidentally hurting planets or hurting yourselves or passing ships. So a lot of stuff is neutralized, but there are ways to get around that stuff. So you do have to switch certain switches to turn off training mode. Yes, it's you. You have to take out a data tape, put it into the computer. Yes, I'm the commander. Yes, I know. Tick, 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 tick. And then eventually you get the sensors turned on. You look up at the sensor board, and you see that hey, Suzuki's warning light about a solar flare has come on. That doesn't make sense. You should be a whole zone away. And that's when you actually get hit by an actual solar flare that deals 4 piercing damage, which means it ignores your resistance, so it goes straight to your shields.
Jesus. Okay.
Your shield.
And we all do the we all do the throwing ourselves all over the bridge.
You've taken 4 shields. That is not enough to trigger a breach, I don't think. I did do a lot, but I don't think that's enough to do anything to you. Just enough to spook you. It was reduced by 1 because of the prediction thing. The computer kind of got an advance warning that something might happen because he set it up to look for it. Yeah, you have to be at 50% before the shields yell at you, and you're not there yet. I think that was real, Commodore, says Aratana.
It sure was. And so what did I actually gain from the roll?
You gained that the things that Suzuki was sensing, the alien ships are not real. Those are just part of the simulation, which good. However, the star is going through you learned that the star is actually going through rather severe solar flares, and there is an actual ship that's sitting there. And it just got blasted pretty severely, and it just took a breach. Hold on, I need to see what happened to it.
Okay.
Because I just realized, oh wait, they don't have shields. So they already had a breach. They just took another one. So yeah, that ship. There's a ship that's basically being cooked over there. That's in close range of the star.
Okay. Yeah, she's going to say, consider the drill canceled. We have an actual medical emergency on our hands. Revere, I need you to go down to engineering and begin attempting to go down to the transporter bay to begin beaming out survivors from the ship at this coordinates. They've just suffered a breach, from that solar flare. Doctor, prepare for radiation treatments immediately.
Very good. Oh,
Revere, you're roboting out.
yep.
Sorry, I was.
Oh, keen clear.
Yeah, sorry, I was in different part of the house. Before Revere leaves the bridge, he'll do an all call again and go, "This is Revere. The drill is at an end. We have an emergency situation. Repeat, we have an emergency situation that is not a drill. Not a drill. Simulation is ended. Command is returning to the Commodore. Revere out." And then I'll head for engineering, stripping off the stupid helmet and vest.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just picture, like, as the two of you leave, there's just 2 helmets and vests just sitting on the floor as you
Well,
both
actually-
take them off.
Well, actually, as Tweer is taking his helmet off, he's actually tapping away at the console in front of him because it's still set up as a medical control console.
Yeah, he said that
okay.
before you got here.
So, like, it'll actually save him some time to do a couple things here and now. like he can inform sickbay, hey, do this, this, and this, like while I'm en route.
Mhm.
Commodore verifying other vessel is not communicating with subspace. There is a navigational transponder, but I barely hear it. It's telling me where it is. It's probably why the simulation computer didn't detect that it was a real ship. It probably just assumed it was part of the simulation.
Understood. Attempts to bring us in closer so that he has an easier time beaming survivors aboard. Is it too large for a tractor?
For momentum, I'll answer that.
Go ahead.
Nope. You can track. It is possible to tractor it out.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to assume beaming with this much stellar radiation is going to make that more difficult.
Yep.
Then could we tractor to move a zone away in order to make that easier?
You could try.
All right.
That is a
Then,
roll
yeah.
of.
Probably 2 rolls.
Well, what moving in is fine. That's
Mhm.
easy. Oh, actually, no. Do I have any threat left? I don't. So no, it's just the normal problem with the star, which is what you have notes. Look at them. There you go. Sim training trait automatically is still in effect because all the stuff's in the way. Rad risk is 2, which with a rad dark regiment is 1. So you need to spend at least 1 momentum to enter the zone with the star.
Okay. That's fine.
Oh. As the ship starts shaking, you can hear the warning light of warning, warning, entering a radiated zone. The shields hold.
Mhm.
Various warning lights let people know the breakers will only take so much, so be ready to move away from the console. You actually notice Aratana start to slide his chair a little bit away from his console as he gets ready to dive away from it.
We perform this correctly, nothing negative will last upon us. Forming a tractor is a security role, right?
I believe it is. I'm gonna look it up. I believe it is. Tactical tractor beam control security.
All right. All right, then she is going to say, security, get a tractor. Upon that tractor's completion, con best possible speed out of this area.
All right. I require for a successful tractor beam control security difficulty of difficulty of 3 assisted by structure security.
Control security. I'm activating Hoffman.
Okay.
Control security, focus in shipboard weapon systems.
Yep.
All right. You said difficulty 3.
I did.
Okay. Take threat.
Threat eye. Plus ship structure security.
I can get that. Oh,
Okay.
did he get it?
You have a tractor lock.
Okay, he got it.
Khan immediately tries to leave, which costs you momentum to do because the star
All
is
right.
not being nice to you.
Then yeah, then she's going to hail down and say, or she's going to communicate down and say, Solaris to Solaris Revere, we've pulled away from the star. Tractor should now be possible, or transport should now be possible.
Just waiting for the shields to go down, Commodore.
She flicks a button and the shields go down.
All right. think actually, where is he? Oh, it's the Andromeda.
Frolic.
I mean, her Rusk is the transporter
Chief.
Yeah. We want to give him any more threat, which I don't necessarily. What's the difficulty on this roll?
You do get to know that ahead of time. It is, since you're beaming off its entire complement, I'm going to treat this as creating a trait through transportation. So control engineering difficulty 2, assisted by sensor science. It would have been higher if you stayed in the star, but you've moved out of it. So
Okay.
this is just beaming a lot of injured people quickly.
All right. Control engineering difficulty 2. I think I'll take that. Transporters, synthesizers as a focus.
Yeah.
2. I'm going to give you 1 threat for a 3rd die in the reroll. There we go. Let's just fish. There we go. So
3. As you beam over, all life signs, or just the ones that are alive? Up to you, really. It's the same roll either way.
Okay, because I don't know if am I able to differentiate the actual life signs from what I mean? Do I know how many people are actually on board, or I mean, because that we were in simulation mode, so I don't know if that 56 with 27 dead was accurate or not.
For 2 momentum, I'll let you cancel that out for the transporters.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, you have the transport. You literally take physically remove the sim part of it, and
Right.
get at the real controls, and then verify against the medical scan, the fake medical scan, and it is real. Those are actual scan numbers. The sim numbers are accurate.
So yeah, I am then worried about the living before the dead.
So how many souls just came aboard?
Well, whatever 56 minus 27 is. I was told there would be no math.
Good thing is, I get the cheat. 56.
29.
29. Yep. You can use the little bubbles above your head to do quick math.
Yeah, exactly.
I
carry an abacus.
Pastime abacus.
Right.
God.
That as a pastime. Okay, we're on stream. So, yeah, you beam over 29 people in shifts, because you only have so many pads and you have to beam. And this is doing it quickly and efficiently, so that way you don't, one, overload yourself, but also you're not just sitting there wasting time either. You're beaming as fast as the ship can reasonably do.
Yeah, and I'll coordinate with medical teams to, get them all triaged and moved out and wherever they need to go.
Ignore for... We'll call ignore for sensors, because it's a sensor system. Yeah, you have 29 souls aboard. They all seem to be a mixture of Federation species.
Yeah, Doctor, this is all you.
Yup. And by this point, Doctor has probably made his preparations on the bridge and has gone down to sick bay.
For your preparations, I'll let you generate a roll here of Reason Medicine, difficulty 2, assisted by Computers Medicine. Difficulty 1, because you have it set up properly for this. This is you just reading up on brushing up on stuff, and you're also looking at data that transporter rooms getting at what your medical teams are learning as your EMTs receive people before you start going down.
Yep. Emergency medicine.
Yes, very much so.
Spending momentum for a third. I'll roll again to fish. Wow.
Generate 2. The worst thing in the world. Wrong thing. That doesn't need to be open anymore. Medical prep. USS Thralic. As you have now fully prepared yourself for the current medical crisis.
Mm-hmm.
You then
Alrighty, heading down.
Commodore, this doesn't make any sense. I looked over the report. This ship's in the exact spot our coordinates called out in the simulation. This is the right system. But we have no standing orders from comms. I just checked over the subspace computer and the logs. Starfleet Command sent no new orders about this crisis. I don't think anyone knows they're out here.
Either this is the world's biggest coincidence, or something else is afoot. Are you able to identify the transponder on that ship? Learn any more information on them?
Stand by. I think I can get them. Okay, cleaning up. Well, we're outside of the star, so stupid simulated. Shut off. Thank you. As you actually hear some irritation coming out of Veritana, he seems to be a little worried that this happened while he was proctoring.
Yep.
Which, for a Vulcan that angry, that's very worried. He's extremely worried about the situation. This is not a Vulcan that appreciates being surprised like this.
The deep Vulcan fear of never being able to give a test again.
Look, I know he's country, but even country boys like to do a test.
That's right.
Cowboy hat, proctor, clipboard.
This is my proctoring hat.
I have the name of this damn ship in my thing. No, you wouldn't have him. I would have it in my GM notes. That's why you don't know what it is, but I do. This is the starship Valiant Star. Seems to be a standard passenger vessel. Don't know why they're out here, though. Doesn't look like they're supposed to be here.
Hopefully we can learn more from their crew once they are in a stable and awake condition.
Aye, Commodore. Shall I inform command of our new situation?
Yes, thank you.
Aye, Commodore. He immediately starts updating Starfleet Command what's going on of the emergency.
Revere will call up and inform the Commodore that all the living are aboard and being treated by medical staff, that the dead are still aboard the vessel. And do you want me to take an engineering team over, Commodore?
Yes,
Our
that would be,
full away team?
yes, you can lead an away team to the system. Take engineering, take suits, obviously, and see if the ship is restorable. If not restorable, at least see if we can learn what occurred on it.
Aye, aye.
I'll take you getting over there as Red.
Okay.
Bring along an engineering detail. I don't think you get that. Do you get that for free as an engineer?
I get it for reduced costs as chief engineer.
So it
reduce the cost
Go ahead, sorry.
by 1. Yeah,
So-
to a minimum of 0, but I think it's 2.
It's 2 normally, so you owe me a momentum.
Yep.
Oh, as you pull over a engineering detail. Oops, wait, no. It's red. It's red. Wrong era. Your roll we'll do real quick because the doctor's looking at extended here, so we'll do yours because you're just a one-off. I'm gonna ask you for reason engineering. You know, you're there scanning. You have gears. Reason or insight. Difficulty 4.
Oh goodness.
It would be base 2, but it's increased by the fact that it's 2 breaches. So the stuff's broken and getting in your way.
Emergency repairs.
Yeah, you need to I'd be looking for something like diagnostics, structural engineering, things like that.
No, stuff that the Commodore has, but that I don't have.
It's not my fault she's a coward.
Oh,
What was that? Did I say that out loud?
It was called being responsible.
Jeez. I didn't know they were allowed to be that way in this era. Everyone gets on my case when I try to protect my officers. But...
It's because there are no other main characters on the bridge.
Hey.
Okay.
Main characters who aren't currently played by the GM.
That's fair.
Innovative engineer for a free hit?
Yeah.
Okay. So diff 4, so fundamentally that brings down to diff 3. Me do reason engineering, and I will give you 2 momentum and 1 threat for 4 dice total.
2 momentum and how much that?
1.
1. Alright.
Ooh, 2. There's 3. I can re-roll that comp though. There's 4. Well, so I gain 1 because I get a free hit. So technically 5, so 1 gain.
So you determined that their comm systems are breached, and they recently just took an engines breach. So if you had done nothing and waited too long, they were gonna someone's gonna yank them in.
Right.
You can ask a question with your momentum if you like, or you can reserve it. Actually, I'll give you a free question because you have an engineering detail with you. You would have gotten a bonus hit on top of that. So actually, no, I take that back. It's not a bonus hit. It's a actual momentum because you had an engineering detail with you. That would have made it easier for free.
Okay. So I know that although you can't quote unquote repair breaches, you can patch breaches in the field. So that's not an issue. It doesn't sound like they're weird breaches. I don't know what were they doing here? Can I have checked their computer systems, their logs?
For momentum, you can get an answer to that.
Yeah.
According to their computer logs and their nav logs, as far as they were aware, they were going to they were going to a system in the Vega sector, which that makes sense. But their navigator critically failed and calculated the wrong warp course. So instead of zipping by the star system, they literally warped at the star. Gravity wells, if intense enough, will pull you out of subspace, like stars. This ship managed to do the thing almost no competent spacefarer does. Ram a star. The only reason they're not dead is because the safety system kicked on and dropped them out of warp before it plummeted into the gravity well.
Hey, let me contact the ship. Revered Commodore Solaris.
Solaris here.
Commodore, you're not going to believe this, but they're here due to a navigation error. They were on their way to another system in the Vega system, but their navigator made a massive calculation for his warp jump and literally ran them smack into the sun. The only reason there's anything left at all is because of the safety systems kicking on at the last minute. That's according to a brief look at their log and nav system. Now, if you want to, after I've patched these breaches, I can do a deeper download and scan of their computer system, see if there's anything more to it. But first glance, this appears to be an incredibly tragic accident.
Understood. You may proceed with repairs. It
Aye.
is an odd coincidence, but not impossible that they serendipitously appear at the same location our training ship was meant to appear in. Stranger Thing, it seems unbelievable, but stranger things have occurred in our journeys.
Fair enough.
All right. Looking at a medical crisis, work 15, magnitude 3, resistance 2, difficulty 2. That's just sheer numbers and trying to treat people quickly before their injuries get worse or degrade. I said the same thing twice, don't mind me. Anything here in your scene notes that require some training? You do have an existing trait that's making things harder. Sim training stuff is still active in the medical area, but I believe that's countered out by your medical prep. So your medical prep has basically, you've already accounted for the fact that there's stuff in the way, and you're kind of already told a couple corpsmen, you three, tear all that down when we're working. Just to get rid of all that, get it out of our way.
And do you still
Like,
get like
yeah. The engineers will be annoyed that we tore it out later, but for now we have to save lives.
Yeah. All right. So, you were saying something there, engineer. Sorry.
Yeah, do you still get the I guess it would be a trait in this system for being in the med bay? It was an advantage last system or last E.
That's where that's.
My thing, it means that I don't have to spend as much for medical equipment.
Well, it's
And
kind of
when I
like
get
mine.
and when I get assistance, I generate bonus momentum. It's no longer anything to do with me
Actually,
being in sick bay or not.
tasks for medical
Well,
procedures performed within
yep.
sickbay reduce difficulty by 1 and can be assisted by sensors or computers medical or at game master's discretion. So
Oh,
doing
is
stuff in
that's just
medical,
the
that's just text.
That's a 6 bay, yeah.
That's your
Oh,
sick
okay.
bay superpower. The difference between treating someone in
Okay,
your
that
sick bay and treating someone on the deck.
yeah, I keep forgetting that they gave other rooms other than the transporter room like special powers.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
All right. So you have a limited amount of time.
Oh wow, engineering does the same thing for engineering tasks.
Yep.
Sweet.
That's good
Noted.
to know.
It's almost like there's a reason I wanted to do this training sim.
Can you throw the text for that somewhere, just so I
Uh,
can like refamiliarize myself with that?
Page 190. I can't at the moment because I'm in GM mode.
Cool.
You have 3 intervals to do this before a lot of the symptoms that people suffered get worse, because some of the people here have all the minor injury. If enough time passes after those 3 intervals, you can keep trying to save people. Anyone with a major injury will advance to a fatal one and they just die. Anyone with a minor one advances into a major, and then you just have, so you'll have all your majors go into dead and all your minors turn into majors. So
Majors. And you said it's page 190.
190. Yep.
Yep, cool. Just double checking. Okay, so the difficulty goes down by 1.
Yep. So div 1.
Cool. I will.
That's not gonna stay.
Hang on.
Hang on.
Renowned physician.
They can pull down resistance or difficulty.
Difficulty.
Yep. 0.
Definitely. And
Edit.
I will spend a momentum for a third die.
Third die.
Emergency medicine or surgery focus.
I take surgery because the major ones will require them. Lots of head injuries and burns and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okie dokie. And you said what medicine?
By surgery, it sounds like control medicine to me.
Cool. I'll take that. I'll reroll that comp. You're kidding. Okay. Hold on.
Holding on.
I will spend my This is rough. I have to spend my Legion of Honor for this to quash that complication. And I will then spend my Medal of Honor to generate 2 bonus
Oh, wait,
momentum.
magnitude. What am I doing? That's not a thing in this game. In this edition.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
Totally forgot about that.
Old habit.
And this is a control, so it should hopefully intense. Yep, good. Whew, good, it's a control. That means my intense scrutiny kicks in.
Okay, so you generated 2 momentum by the look of it.
Yes. And then I also will spend my Medal of Honor to generate 2 more bonus momentum on top of that.
2 bonus. Very good. You have a medicine of 5, so you do 5 work.
And then I will spend the 2 bonus momentum to make it 6 work, and then the
Up to 6 work.
the 2 momentum that I generated to bring it up to 7 work.
7 work. You get a breakthrough here. You learn that these people have aggravated their injuries severely because they were moving around while injured, while in the middle of their crisis. So a lot you've treated some of the most critical ones, but they slowed you down because you learned things like, oh, this is actually way worse. Like it's not like it's like a 3rd degree plasma burn that goes like deep penetration into skin and stuff. It is really really bad.
Also, can someone roll ship's sensors or computers plus medicine?
Yeah,
Because
got it.
that's a thing that I get.
Yep. Also note resistance 1 pulled away 1, so you didn't get 7, you got 6. Work.
I ignore resistance.
Oh, never mind. Don't mind me.
And ship hit.
And ship hit, so you generated no momentum there.
Yep, I will hang onto that momentum because I'm gonna want it for.
I'm gonna up the difficulty by 2 more, due to the fact that the injuries are actually way more complicated and severe because these people aggravated existing injuries. So you're basically on the brink of a bunch of people who are dying on the operating table. So you actually have a bunch of dying and a bunch of majors.
All right.
Do you want to activate somebody for an assist?
I would appreciate that. Cracks fingers. Starfleet Surgeon's Decoration. I dropped the difficulty of this task by 2.
There you go. Who are you activating?
Let's do Conway.
Conway I.
All right, you've got it.
Sure. I mean, unless you want to, I don't really care. I've gotten to roll a lot more than you.
Sure, I can do it. You were the one who spoke up first.
Go ahead.
What is Conway rolling?
Depends what the doctor's doing.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like people are about to die on the operating table, so more surgery.
More surgery. Control medicine.
Medicine. Focus in anesthesiology. I'm helping.
Yes.
I'm doing the sedation so he can focus on other things. Great.
Easily.
Cool.
I don't know why it rolled 2. I only selected 1, but only take the 1.
Yep. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. You generated a bonus because you were assisted.
Yep.
And chip.
Sorry, I keep veering away to look something up in the book, and
welcome to my world.
But it doesn't hurt.
Cool.
Okay, so
cool. I'll take that.
You have a medicine of 5, so 7 on 5 is 12.
I could spend all the momentum we've got and fill it up to 15.
Do it.
Plus 1 because I have a bonus.
Mhm.
So we'll still have a momentum on the board.
What's it currently at?
12 of 15.
12.
Oh
12
yeah,
of 15. So if I spend bonus in 1, 2, and 2,
yeah. Do it.
that
Do
fills it.
it.
Bonus in 1, 2, and 2 is adding 3, which puts you up to 15. Yeah, you rapidly work to save all the lives that are in your medical bay. The most of the injuries were plasma burns, suffered by most of basically because you're looking at a ship that's basically being irradiated all the time, and stuff just starts, like, the breakers only can handle so much. Eventually stuff starts popping, and it's either this pops and lets out some plasma flame, or the whole deck goes. It's like, yeah, we're gonna let something pop. And they aren't Starfleet officers. These are just people. These are just spacefarers. um a lot of broken legs with severe muscle tears, which people moved around on those legs, which made things worse. So there's a lot of there's a lot of cybernetic legs that are in that going to be following up with a lot of these people because they just ruined their legs.
Yeah, but hey, you know what? They're alive.
Yep.
Here we go.
New scene as
And they all definitely would not have been alive if that hadn't, yeah.
So we cut to a scene where all of you are gathering on the bridge after things have somewhat quieted down. There are engineering teams picking over the Valiant Star. It's currently in tractor. Medicals basically maintaining and palliative care and continuing intensive care for all the injured. And you see people carrying out, crewmen starting to carry out the various in boxes, all the training stuff that was attached to everything. Stacks of helmets and vests.
Well, I do not believe that in this debrief of the events of today, I do not believe that that this training session went as you planned, Aratana, but I do still believe we learned quite a bit.
Yeah, I agree, Commodore. I hate to chalk this up to more coincidence, but I checked over the Proctor notes for the sim sent by command. The ship that was supposed to be identified in the notes was the Valiant Star. Same injuries, same severity, same complications.
Perhaps there was some subspace psychic link between you and the crew of that ship, and what you subconsciously learned of the ship you wrote down as part of the test, not realizing that it would actually be true, she says, and you can just hear from the tone of her voice, she's not confident in this at all.
You get a rate.
Did we ever
But
did we determine how long that ship had been there?
looks to Revere. Revere, give me insight engineering difficulty 1.
Because he looks to Aratana because because depending on how the timeline of this works, we may have even more questions.
Oh, you generated momentum. That's nice. To me. According to your calculations there, Revere, that ship got into its crisis about 30 minutes before the test started.
That can't possibly be right. If we are to assume that this test
any longer, Doctor, and they would have been fried, flare or no flare.
The test says the same thing. 30 minutes before arrival. That was supposed to be found as an extra computer test of looking over their data tapes.
I mean, this scenario was generated by command, not Artana or here locally.
I added some notes here or there to customize it a bit to the Thralic, but most of this is documented from command.
There's no
What would
way that command would actually put lives in danger in the scenario as some sort of test, because we would not have responded as quickly if we continued to use secondary crewmates in the test. I do not understand if I do not understand. Command could not have ordered them to do such a thing to create the scenario. Even if they did do such a thing, it's not like warping through a star is a safe event that could give a predictable, exact location of where you would arrive in.
Are,
It has to
are,
be a deeper link.
I can
all right.
do a deeper dive into their computer core and see if there's anything beyond the obvious on their logs and nav records.
And perhaps and perhaps Lieutenant, you might reach out to other ships within the fleet, see if any other ships have had to take on this test, and if so, whether there are any similarities.
Aye, Doctor. And then he turns. He sees a blinking red light on his console. Furrows his brow, holds up to his ear, looks more confused because he should be hearing something in his ear. Fiddles with the controls.
God.
Say again, Starfleet Command. Starfleet Command, could you repeat that, please? He starts tapping his fingers. I understand my orders, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Will do, sir. Thank you. Flicks some switches. You hear a printing noise coming out of the machine. He grabs a slip of paper, puts it onto a pad, and then he actually grabs a special pad where he slips the paper underneath. It's a bright gold bit of paper that he slips underneath a cover, and it says CO eyes only. He gets up, excuse me, sirs, walks it over to the Commodore, and holds out the CO eyes only document.
Yeah, the CO will take a step back away from anyone else and look at the document.
You are hereby, priority 1, you're hereby ordered by Starfleet Command to turn over all material and information on this event to the USS Classified, and to no longer look into this matter. And then it has like 3 different admirals who have signed on to this.
Yeah. She reads all of this and then says, the 3 of you please collate reports and information on all of the documents and experiences you have witnessed in regards to this mission. Hand them over to me, and I shall hand them over to command. We are not to discuss this matter further.
And what of the multiple casualties in my sick bay?
We shall transfer them over to Starfleet Command at a point of their choosing.
Understood. Until such a time, they are still under my care.
Of course, Doctor.
Same for the Valiant Star, I presume.
She nods her head.
Aye, Captain. And under the excuse of getting his, helping his engineering team pack things up and get off the Valiant Star. Revere's gonna look into that computer core, see if he can learn anything more about what happened to him.
Okay.
We'll give one final rule for everybody before we wrap up, because you might learn
Okay.
something. Cause you're trying to slip some things before start the command clues in that you haven't done. You only have so much time before you can go. We need to be moving in their direction. But you have enough time
Commodore
to
just told me I couldn't talk about it. Didn't say I couldn't. You know,
poke
I
around.
didn't hear any. Yeah, I didn't hear anything about cease your investigation immediately.
Give me reason engineering difficulty of computers weren't hit, so it would be 2. I'll call it 3.
Okay. Computer science as a focus. Okay, difficulty 3. Reason engineering. Would cryptologists kick in here?
Not really, no. I don't believe so.
Okay.
It's not an encryption problem.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't know if something was encoded or something.
No, it's just. I'll explain if you hit it.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so what do we got? I'll take one momentum and 2 threat for bold. Let's see if I can learn anything here. Yes.
So that was 3.
5.
So you generate 2. It would appear that some sort of their computers picked up. It's very faint, and you'd almost just chalk it up to their computers got damaged, but you double check that it isn't just a computer error. That's what increased difficulty. It was more the computer was throwing information that didn't make sense, and it's like
Okay.
you are either going to ignore it and go, yeah, that just doesn't make sense. I'll ignore that. That happens to ships. Or wait a minute, maybe that's real, and you double check it for sure, and no, that's real. According to the Valiant Sky, the reason it diverted is because their ship didn't know what they saw, but you understand it. Some sort of a subspace quantum event occurred that essentially shunted them or hopped them, if you will, about several light years to the left or toward galactic center, which if you do enough astronomical units, eventually you start being bumped into. Your calculations can be very narrow, and some ships, when they're trying to cut corners, will use gravitational wells to kind of help them along in their warp. And like, it's never going to happen. You warp in straight lines at faster than light speeds. How could you possibly hit a star unless something like this happens? Something popped up in front of them and then shifted them sideways a little bit. It's like they hit it's like they hit a subspace bump or a quantum wormhole that went galactic center by a few astronomical units.
They literally hit a pothole and ran off the road.
Yep.
Or something. So it wasn't navigation error. Something interfered with their flight path, and their emergency systems just diverted them.
Yeah, the emergency system's the only reason they didn't just blast it. They didn't just blunder into the sun, because it just dropped. Because Federation standard goes, I don't care what you say, unless you rip this part of me out of the system, I'm shutting off the warp drive.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
What is the Doctor's final move as the investigation gets swept under the rug?
Yep, Doctor's final move is he's walking in and around like the sick bay, just sort of talking with people and just, friendly bedside manner. I'm your friendly doctor, just making sure that you're okay. And if I happen to overhear something muttered that seems of importance, I'll just quietly commit it to memory. And
presence medicine difficulty of, I'll call it 3, because these people are hurt and they'll talk about they'll talk about their injuries, trade war stories, if you will, which is like, that's nice, but that's not what I'm looking for.
Yep. Either I'll spend my value, either no medical mystery remains unsolved, or the canary in the coal mine.
Either, actually, your call.
The canary in the coal mine,
Okay.
because that seems to be my eternally good one. I am still going to spend a momentum to buy another die, so I'm rolling 2.
Roger. Boop.
Composure focus? I don't want to
Yeah.
come across as like, I don't want to seem like I'm digging.
Yeah, I'm not prying. I'm just talking. So, what's
I'm your
Vigil 3
doctor.
like?
Yeah.
Oh man, that arm must
Okay,
really
cool.
hurt. What'd you hit? You know any medical
Cool.
mysteries I want to know about?
Mm-hmm.
On the dot.
Okay, that is 5 hits.
Oh, you spent the thing. I'm smart. So generate 2. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oop. So these people, they talk about, the general stuff people who are in a crisis are, like how, so and so, okay, we're from so and so. You do know that these people are not from. They weren't heading to the system that you guys you guys are attached to. I forget the name of the planet at the moment. The Andromeda system? No, that's not what it's called. Where those miners are, I forget what the name of the system is at the moment. But that system, they're not heading there, which is the most exciting part in the Vega sector, as far as you're aware, because it's the big new shiny. Hey, here's a planet that's being pulled into the Federation. And it's like, no, they were going to like some other planet. It was just a normal, hey, let's go do some mining on planet Alpha Centauri or whatever. And it's like, oh, so they weren't heading anywhere exciting. They're just a bunch of regular people who have various jobs, like, a duranium manufacturer, replicator, not replicator, but synthesizer specialist. There's a couple sculptors in there because they wanted to go on a tour. There's a tourist. And spacers who are just here transporting stuff, moving mail around, moving cargo around. Nothing expensive. But the thing that jumps out at you, and they don't know what they're saying, because it's a lot of them talking among themselves, trying to figure out the mystery, but they just don't have the training you do. They talk about something, having seen a gentle luminescent light, like a shifting pattern that was just kind of there, like a colorful miasma in certain parts of the ship. And they could swear they saw expressive violet and blue eyes. Which is chalk up to, wow, you really hit your head, or man, but it's like, no, they're talking about what they seem to be talking about, an alien species. They just don't know that's what they're talking about. They're chalking it up to the disaster because they don't know what that is. Heck, you're not even sure what that is right now. But it sounds like they're talking about an alien. These people, because you also know the medical history. You know that what they didn't have visual hallucinations or even auditory ones. So they saw something. Someone was on their ship.
Someone was on their ship.
And
I'll spend a momentum to ask a question.
certainly.
Does this seem consistent with, like, the fact that their memories of this are all jumbled? Does this seem consistent with a psionic event?
No. They don't show signs of mimetics or psychic incursion or anything like that. Because there'd be psilocybin residue, if you will. Like their psilocybin would be their psilocybin rating basically would be turned up by like 5. But it's like they're at their normal levels. You actually that extra point, I'll say, you even check the computer like, psilocybin is something you check, like you check blood pressure. It's just a thing you check. It's like, just check real quick. Is everyone normal? Check their medical histories. Yeah, they're normal. That guy is a little more sensitive, but he just got married recently, so that makes sense.
What? A Corbinian game where weird psionic nonsense isn't responsible?
I'm glad I took my heart medication earlier.
Any other questions, smart Alec?
Anything from you guys?
Oh no, I'm gonna turn to the Commodore. But you're asking if you're asking them if you want.
I mean, and any questions from you guys that I'm not considering?
I don't think so.
Okie doke. I'll let it go to the Commodore. I thought that was a prescient theory worth.
Yeah.
And Commodore, you get the final roll.
Yeah, the Commodore got a letter from Starfleet Command saying not to investigate this matter further, so I don't think she's going to. She understands what her role is in this position, and she's not so curious to learn something that violates, authorization this high up.
Therefore, I'll ask you for an opposed insight command. Maybe someone on your bridge doesn't give a damn.
Okay.
You're the defender, because I'm trying to trick you.
Sounds good.
No, it doesn't. Don't tell me that. Don't pity me because I have one thread. I mean, you can give me a bunch of thread. I wouldn't mind. But you are, insight command.
So you said you're the attacker. I'm defender. I roll first. Okay.
Correct.
Insight command. Yeah, I'm not gonna have a focus in people reading.
So much for that mind meld.
I could just mind meld everyone, but I think the ethics committee would have words with me about that.
I might ding you. Just
Jeez.
throwing that out there.
I had to mind meld multiple people
Jeez.
without consent. Yeah. All right. Take one threat, and I'll spend that 2 momentum.
Thanks. Doing anything else to those numbers? You have 3 hits so far.
Could I do anything else with that? Not super. I'm just gonna leave it as is. She's you know, she doesn't want people to be sticking their noses in, but she's not trying that hard because she understands why people are curious about such an odd event.
Trying to trick you. I bought a die. Fortunately, I'm not really good at lying. That's not one of my things, hilariously. I probably should learn to do that. Our traits of our reputation are equal, so me being renowned doesn't really matter. That doesn't help me here. That helps me with something else. So, well, fudge. Eritana's looking at. You can see Eritana is looking over stuff and copying data tapes. I'm setting them aside. Like it's like he doesn't think anyone's going to be. You can because you know what his station does because you've done engineering. Because communication is an engineering adjacent role, you know those data tapes are comm logs. He's not supposed to keep those. Mm-hmm. He's supposed to turn those in. Oh, you get 2 momentum, by the way.
She looks at it, could I spend 2 momentum on the trait of, I don't know, looking the other way or something that,
I mean, you can just do that.
No one notices this event?
Oh.
Okay. Well, I meant not just me, that I'm looking the other way and, like, no one else is looking this way.
Okay. The crew won't know. You
Here
will.
we go.
And Eritana will walk out after he gets his station relieved for a bit. He gathers up everyone else's tapes, and a couple of red tapes happen to be in the pocket of his uniform. And they will go somewhere else.
And we will, tractor the ship and warp over to the rendezvous system of Starfleet's choosing.
Meanwhile, Revere starts working on a sensor alert to look out for quote-unquote potholes in warp space. Based on the records of that computer.
So, for all of you watching out there, that's it. That's all. Thank you very much for watching. For those of you playing, thank you very much for doing so. And next time, we'll see what happens to the Frolic and its crew. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Ooh, that was good.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
We got in a one episode that episode.
Yep.
One
Yeah,
episode story. That's what I meant.
Minor miracle.
that ended before my hard stop.
I know, seven
Yeah.
7 minutes to spare. You could write a whole book
Awesome.
in those 7 minutes.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely get the impression that we have not heard the last of this particular plot line.
As
I
soon as Winchester
mean,
gets sick again.
yeah,
Speaking
that's what I
of,
was going to say. I think we have about this highly classified information until Winchester or until Aratana gets the GM seat again.
He might use these notes. I'll share with him what I learned. He might pick this up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say that
the,
much.
the thing I was thinking, like